Have you ever felt like no matter how much you earn, it's never quite enough? Like there's always another bill, another worry, another silent pressure chasing you? You're not alone. We live in a time where our worth often feels tied to numbers in a bank account, where anxiety about money creeps into our mornings, follows us to work, and keeps us awake at night. But what if there's another way to live? What if peace isn't something we buy, but something we uncover? In the teachings of the Buddha, there's a powerful truth. Freedom is not found in wealth, but in the mind that is free from craving. Dhammapada. This video is not about getting rich. It's about getting free. Free from the invisible chains of financial fear. Free from the belief that more money means more happiness. And free to rediscover your own inner wealth, calm, clarity, and compassion. Whether you're struggling to make ends meet or silently drowning in the stress of success, Buddhist wisdom offers something rare. A gentle yet radical shift in how we see money, security, and happiness. So take a deep breath. Let go, just for now, of the numbers, the goals, the fears. Because beyond the balance in your bank account, there's a deeper balance waiting to be restored within you. Let's begin. Why is it that money causes us so much stress? Not just the lack of it. Even when we have enough, there's often still that nagging worry, that subtle restlessness. Something always feels missing. In Buddhism, the Buddha identified the root of all suffering with a single word, tanhā. It means craving, a deep, constant longing for something we don't yet have, or fear of losing what we do. And craving doesn't only show up as desire for money, it shows up as the desire for control, security, and approval. It says, once I make more, I'll finally relax. Once I pay off this debt, I'll be at peace. Once I save enough, I'll be happy. But that once never really arrives, does it? Craving, or tanhā, is like a thirst that grows stronger the more we try to quench it. And this craving gives birth to dukkha, the Buddhist term for suffering or dissatisfaction. Not always intense pain, but that subtle tension in your chest, that low hum of unease, that voice that says, it's not enough. I need more. I need to be more. Here's what's profound. The Buddha never said money is evil. He simply pointed out that attachment to money, our mental grasping, is the true source of our stress. When we link our sense of identity and worth to how much we own or earn, we become trapped in a cycle of fear. Fear of not having enough. Fear of losing what we already have. Fear of not being good enough in a material world. This is why many people, even those who are financially stable, still feel anxious or restless, because the suffering doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. From a mind caught in the grip of tanhā. So what's the first step out? Awareness. Recognizing when the craving is talking. Recognizing when fear is running the show. And gently asking ourselves, is this thought leading me to peace or further into anxiety? This awareness doesn't come to shame us. It's here to free us. To remind us that we are not our fears. We are not our bank account. We are not defined by our cravings. Through the light of mindfulness and compassion, we begin to loosen the grip of tanhā. And in that letting go, suffering starts to dissolve. Because freedom isn't about having more. It's about needing less. Let's pause and reflect. How many times have we placed our sense of security on things that don't last? The job we thought was stable. The investments we believed were safe. The lifestyle we worked so hard to build. All of it can shift in an instant. In Buddhist teachings, this truth is called anicca, impermanence. Everything that arises will also pass away. Wealth comes and goes. Markets rise and fall. One moment, abundance. The next, uncertainty. This isn't a pessimistic view, it's a liberating one. When we deeply understand impermanence, we no longer cling so tightly. We see that nothing, Not even the size of our bank account can provide absolute security. And that realization sets us free. Because think about it. How much of our anxiety is rooted in the fear of loss, fear of losing our savings, fear of not being able to afford the future, fear of not measuring up. But anicca reminds us, nothing is ever fully within our control. And in that space of uncertainty lies a great teaching, to stop anchoring our happiness in things that are fleeting. The Buddha once said, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. Instead of resisting change, we learn to ride the wave. Instead of fearing the unexpected, we train the mind to be steady, regardless of what's gained or lost. That doesn't mean we stop saving, working, or building. It simply means we stop believing that our peace depends on any of it. Because even if we build wealth today, it is still subject to time, chance, and decay. But the calm, grounded mind, that can weather any storm. So ask yourself, are you placing your peace on something temporary or something eternal? The true refuge in Buddhism isn't in gold, stocks, or success. It's in the unshakable clarity that nothing lasts, and that's okay. Because when we stop resisting impermanence, we start living in peace. Let's ask an honest question. What are we really chasing when we chase money? It's not the paper. It's not even the number in the bank account. We're chasing a feeling. The feeling of being safe. The feeling of being valued. The feeling of finally being happy. But here's the truth. No amount of money can guarantee those feelings, because happiness that depends on external things will always be fragile. In Buddhist teaching, happiness is not something we achieve. It is something we return to. It's our natural state. When the mind is calm, when the heart is open, when we're not being pulled in every direction by fear and desire. The Buddha taught that true peace doesn't come from changing the world around us. It comes from changing the way we see the world. That means we don't need to wait for a promotion, a bigger paycheck, or a debt-free future to begin living joyfully. We can begin right here, right now, through inner stillness, through self-awareness, through letting go of the stories that say, I'm only okay if... Think of it like this. Two people can live in the exact same situation, same job, same house, same income. Yet one lives in stress, the other in peace. The difference isn't what they have. The difference is how they relate to what they have. One clings, the other flows. One fights reality, the other accepts and breathes. This is the power of inner peace. It's not loud or flashy. It's quiet, but unshakable. It comes when we stop looking for happiness out there and start cultivating it from within. So how do we begin? Not by withdrawing from life or abandoning responsibility, but by bringing more presence into our day. By practicing sati, mindfulness. By recognizing that even small moments, a warm cup of tea, a kind word, a deep breath, can be doors to joy. And in those moments, we remember, we are already whole. We already have what we need to be at peace. Because happiness isn't something we get when everything is perfect. It's something we experience when the mind is still and the heart is free. When anxiety about money arises, it often begins in the mind. A quiet whisper of, what if? What if I can't pay next month's bills? What if something unexpected happens? What if I'm falling behind? These thoughts can quickly spiral, pulling us away from the present and into imagined futures filled with fear. But here's where the practice of mindfulness, or sati in Pali, becomes a refuge. Mindfulness isn't just meditation on a cushion. It's the art of coming back, again and again, to the here and now, to what's real, rather than what's imagined, to what's enough, rather than what's missing. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to catch those anxious thoughts as they arise, without judgment. Instead of letting them carry us into panic, we pause and breathe. Breathing in, I know I am alive. Breathing out, I let go. This simple awareness can interrupt the cycle of worry and gently return us to peace. And hand in hand with mindfulness is another powerful practice: gratitude. Gratitude turns the mind from scarcity to abundance, from lack to sufficiency, from fear to love. Even in the most uncertain moments, there's something we can be grateful for: a roof overhead, a kind smile from a stranger, a moment of rest between tasks. These may seem small, but in Buddhism it's said, if you know how to be happy with little, you have found great treasure. So how do we bring this into our lives? You can start with a simple practice, just 5 minutes a day. Morning. Pause. Before grabbing your phone, take 3 slow breaths. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. Say quietly to yourself, this moment is enough. Gratitude journal. Each night, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big. What matters is noticing. Mindful spending. Before you buy something, pause. Ask, do I really need this, or am I soothing a fear? That question alone can change your relationship with money. Because when we live with presence and appreciation, we soften the grip of anxiety. We stop chasing future comforts and begin to touch the richness of now. Peace is not found in having more. It is found in needing less and noticing more. Through mindfulness and gratitude, we remember, we may not control the economy, but we can calm the mind. We may not know what tomorrow holds, but we can treasure today. And in that simple shift, anxiety begins to dissolve, replaced by something far more powerful: trust, presence, and quiet joy. In a world driven by more wealth, more status, more things, living simply feels almost rebellious. But in Buddhism, simplicity is not about deprivation. It's about freedom. When we simplify our lives, not by force, but with awareness, we reduce clutter, not just in our homes, but in our hearts. We begin to see what truly matters. The Buddha taught the middle way, not a life of luxury, not one of extreme denial, but a life of balance, a life where contentment replaces craving, where just enough becomes more than enough. So what does that look like in daily life? It means asking before a purchase, do I really need this, or am I trying to fill a void inside? It means choosing to spend time rather than always trying to save time. Slowing down, noticing a sunset, enjoying a home-cooked meal, listening fully to a loved one. In that slowing down, we often find we already have enough. And when we feel enough, something beautiful happens. We begin to let go. Letting go, vosaga in Pali, is a central Buddhist practice. It doesn't mean abandoning responsibilities or giving up ambition. It means releasing the tight grip of attachment, letting go of what weighs us down, the need to prove ourselves, the fear of not having more, the pressure to constantly achieve. And from that space of release, we can begin to plant seeds, not of wealth, but of wholesomeness. We practice dana, the act of generosity, not because we have so much, but because we realize the joy of giving a kind word, sharing our time, donating even a small amount with a pure heart. Every act of generosity waters a seed of compassion, and in Buddhism, that's how we grow merit, not in hopes of reward, but in the quiet confidence that goodness will bear fruit. Let go of what is not yours. Live simply. Give freely. A reflection of the Buddha's path. Because true wealth isn't measured in possessions. It's measured in peace, in kindness, in how light our heart feels when we rest our head at night. And when we live simply, let go gently, and give from the heart. We plant seeds of happiness not just for ourselves, but for the world. There is a place of stillness inside each of us. It's quiet, it's spacious, it's free, But in the noise of modern life, work, news, bills, responsibilities, we forget it exists. Meditation, or bhavana in Pali, is the practice of coming home to that stillness. It's not about escaping the world. It's about learning to be at peace in the middle of it. The Buddha didn't teach meditation to create monks who sit in caves. He taught it so we could see clearly, to look deeply into our minds, to understand the causes of our suffering, and to develop the qualities that lead to liberation: mindfulness, compassion, equanimity. Even just 5 or 10 minutes a day of sitting quietly, breathing, observing, can begin to untangle the knots of anxiety tied to money and self-worth. Try this simple practice. Sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Focus gently on your breath. As thoughts arise, I need to earn more, I'm not doing enough, just notice them. Don't fight them. Don't follow them. Return to the breath. Each time you return, you strengthen your inner balance. You remind yourself, I am more than my thoughts. I am more than my fears. And alongside meditation, we can nourish the mind with Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha. Listening to Dhamma, reading the suttas, or reflecting on a simple verse can help shift our perspective from scarcity to sufficiency, from fear to freedom. The mind, once calmed, becomes clear like a still lake. In that clarity, we see truth. Inspired by the Buddha's teachings. When we give the mind space to rest, we begin to hear what's truly important. We realize that chasing money isn't the answer, but neither is denying it. The path lies in wisdom, in knowing how to live with what we have, without fear, without greed. So let meditation be your anchor, let the Dhamma be your guide, and let each moment of stillness remind you, peace is possible, right here, right now. So much of our life is spent trying to solve money, trying to earn more, save more, plan more, control more. But what if peace isn't found in solving everything? What if it's found in seeing things clearly? Throughout this video, we've explored the roots of financial anxiety, not just in our bank accounts, but in our minds. We've learned from the Buddha's teachings that suffering doesn't come from money itself, but from attachment, craving, and fear. And we've seen that liberation begins, not when we have everything we want, but when we stop needing everything to be perfect. True peace comes from the inside. It grows through mindfulness, when we return to the present moment. It deepens through gratitude, when we recognize what is already good. It strengthens through simplicity and letting go, when we stop carrying what isn't ours. And it blossoms through compassion and generosity, when we give not from excess, but from the heart. The Buddha didn't promise a life without difficulty, but he offered a path to meet life's difficulty with clarity, courage, and compassion. So here is your invitation. Slow down. Take a breath. Trust that you are enough, right here, right now. Your worth is not tied to a paycheck. Your peace is not postponed until you have more. It is available to you in this very moment, when the mind is calm and the heart is open. Let go of the pressure to have it all figured out. Instead, listen deeply. Practice gently. Live with intention, not fear, because the greatest richness you can cultivate is a mind that rests in wisdom and a heart that lives in peace. May you be free from worry. May you be steady like a mountain. May you remember that the truest wealth is within. If this message spoke to your heart today, if it gave you even a moment of calm, a shift in perspective, or simply a breath of peace, then please consider supporting this journey. Like this video to help it reach more people who may be carrying silent financial stress. Comment below and share. What part of this teaching resonated with you the most? And if you'd like to walk further on this mindful path, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon, so you'll be gently reminded of future reflections rooted in Buddhist wisdom. This isn't just a channel. It's a space for quiet strength, inner peace, and compassionate insight. Thank you for being here. May you be well. May your heart be light. And may you always remember, you are already enough.